It may not mean nothing to y'all, but understand nothing was done for me, so I don't plan on stopping at all. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine, ever mine. I'm shutting shit down in the mall, and telling that girl she the one for me, and I ain't even planning the call. I want this shit forever, mine.
Hey guys, it's me, Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade, Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 10, Episode 4 review. So this week's episode picks up where last week's episode left off with Maurice and Marceau kind of going at it a little bit over the Jalen situation. And Marceau tells Maurice, the point is you treat your stepchild like a stepchild. And Maurice says, I'm not treating him like a stepchild. Marceau says, well, he feels like you treat him that way, and so does his mom. But of course, Maurice doesn't want to acknowledge this because Maurice is never wrong, and everything that he says is justified. Even though his stepchild is telling him that he treats him differently, and so is his mother, but it's not true, according to Maurice. How that works in his brain, I don't know. Maybe because his brain is made up of margarine and not real unsalted butter. I don't know. So Marceau says, well, he feels like you treat him that way. And so did his mom. Kimmi, in her confessional, says it's really hard sometimes to get things through to Maurice. It gets a little frustrating. I bet it does get frustrating living with Jesus, somebody who is never wrong, okay? Because he is the almighty. Marceau, Maurice, and Jalen then link up and talk about what's been going on. And Jalen says that the more they talk about this family business, the more it sounds like a dictatorship. And of course, once again, Maurice sitting up there like, huh? Where'd that come from? Huh? What? Marceau then says, there's a double standard when it comes to Jalen and Monster. And Jalen agrees. Maurice does something astonishing. He apologizes to Jalen for the past and tells him if anything makes him feel that way moving forward to immediately let him know. Do I think that he still really honestly feels like he's done anything wrong? No, because in that conversation, he reiterated once again that, Jalen has turned out to be a great young man, a very upstanding. So something is right. He still don't think that he did anything wrong, child. So just leave the conversation alone at this point. Like, Jalen, you a grown man. Let that man be. Let your mama be stupid. It is what it is. So, Jalen, we find out, also got accepted for the position in Colorado. And that's why I'm like, baby, chuck them folks up the deuce and go ahead and build you your own life, okay? Away from these fools. And Jalen discusses how, he's excited about the job opportunity, but how the money ain't what he thought it would be, And here come Maurice. Instead of just giving him encouraging words and backing up what he's saying and validating his feelings, Maurice got to tell him, you know what I'm saying? Basically, he needs to be grateful for the opportunity because it'll lead to something better. But if you listen to what Jalen was saying for the last, I think he said 3 years, he's been biting the bullet and taking a lower pay than what he actually deserves. You know what I'm saying? So at some point you have to teach him to validate himself. And if you're not being validated, you need to go somewhere where you will be validated and appreciated. Instead of just telling him to, yes, sir, I'm going to take whatever you give me. And this is why I don't see it for Maurice. Because even Marceau was kind of looking at him like, dang, can you just, not be negative about everything? Like, listen to what he's saying to you. But that's too much like right, child. Tricia visits Nell at her daycare. And for once, I like the style of Tricia's hair. Was it executed right? Absolutely not. But the hair color and them bangs looked good on her. It softened her face so much. If she would have had more hair, because it was quite thin, it would have been a home run, okay? She says that Martell and Marquez are not invited to her birthday party, and I'm trying to figure out why Martell not invited. What happened between them that he not invited? I don't know where that came from, because even at the reunion, they didn't have it out or anything like that. So I'm trying to figure out where that came from. Am I missing something? Y'all fill me in. Nell says that she felt like the other day at the dinner that Letitia was very standoffish when she asked about the situation with their husbands and the interview that Martell did with Marceau's. Didn't that girl say she slept with Marceau and Maurice? I can't remember, child. But that lady. And Trisha was like, maybe that's a subject she doesn't want to touch on right now. And Nell was like, she never talks about her stuff. Never. And she don't. She don't. Her or Kimmi. They act like it's not happening. They act like it is beneath them, like everybody else is stupid. And it's just not happening, okay? They act like aliens don't exist out in outer space. That's how they treat these situations. And Tricia says that she thinks that they're just guarded. And I'm like, okay, until they start coming at you, which we saw in this episode that they're starting now to pick at your situation. Yeah. Martell has breakfast with Merlene, child. Merlene is back, and she looked like a Merlene. She looked like she leaning, okay? And he tells her that Ariane is moving into his investment property. And she was like, that's good. Instead of it just sitting there, that's the mother of your kid. It is what it is. And Merlene asks him, you thinking about marrying her? And listen to what Martell says. He says, of course, if she's that person, she'll be the one that I marry. She'll be that person that I married if she's that person, It's always a if. It's always a but. She's not that person, and you're never going to marry her. I don't know who you fooling. I don't know if you saying that on the show now, I guess will give her the validation so she can shut the fuck up about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling the world I'll marry you. I'm telling the world you move into my house. And it'll suffice her for another 5 years. And then in another 5 years, she'll demand the ring. You'll give her a little ring to shut up for another 5 years. And by that time, you'll be dead. So that's how that whole situation go. Okay? But he's never marrying that chick. Ever, 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 ever. And Merlene says that, it took her time to adjust to Ariane because she loved her old family. And Martell was like, I just need to make sure she's going to be everything I need for her to be. If she ain't showed you after almost 10 years of being with her that she ain't the person that you need for her to be, then once again, it ain't going to be. You're never going to marry her because she isn't what you want. She isn't what you want. She just feels a desire for you. You don't love her. You're not in love with her. She feels a desire for you. She is an easy lay that you are now tied to for the rest of your life. That is all that it is, child. And Merlene was like, all she went through to get you, she'll do right. I said, come on, Merlene, you better be shady. Baby, I said, that's right, baby, because she didn't jump through hoops, fire, floods, and everything else to be with that man. And I don't understand why, boy. Hey, to each his own. You like it, I love it. So then it's the night of Tricia Cowboy thing birthday party, child. Tisha is questioning, like, why is Ken on all of her photographs? And I wanted the same thing. I'm like, do they share a birthday or something? Because, like, why is he in all of her pictures? Like, I thought this was her birthday party. Very strange. Very weird. So Maurice and Marceau say they got questions for Chris regarding the whole NDA comment. Trisha arrived, child. Baby, she thought she was doing her big one. She thought she was doing that. She came in there looking like a dancing doll. Looking like Miss D doing one of them. Woo! She came over there looking like a majorette, honey, like she needs to be in the stadium stands, honey, while the football play. You going in this majorette costume looking like you about to be in the 2026 Winter Olympics? Girl, she looked a mess. Body on fleek. That's about the only thing she got going for herself is that body. Okay, but she looked a mess. Okay, it was not giving Cowboy Carter. Okay, it was giving Chitlin Circuit for real. Oh my goodness. So they come in. She got on her sparkles and fringe, and he come in there with the same shirt he got on in the pictures, a plaid shirt with the sleeves cut off, looking stupid. Just a big ass waste of space, child. And Tisha says, you know, what's going on with you and Ken? And she was like, what you mean? And she was like, I feel like you're 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I was like, she guarded, but she ain't guarded about your situation. She want to talk about you. And I think at that moment, that's when it clicked in Trisha's head. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Now I see where Nell coming from. Because you got questions for everybody, but when somebody got a question for you, you get an attitude. Okay, I see where this is going. So Nell jumped in and was like, she said she ready to get married. Like, even Kimmi co-signs that, yeah, she said she ready to get married and all this, that, and the third. Why do you care? Yeah, because you want to keep the subject on everybody else and don't want to talk about your shit. Okay. So then we go over to the guys, and Maurice says to Ken, like, can I say this to you? He was like, go ahead. He was like, you know, according to the law, you're the bad guy. And Ken tells him, how? And Maurice says, they're still married. Like, what about that don't you get, son? And he was like, I mean, I know. And Marceau says, I mean, if something happens to Trish, God forbid, they'll call Marquez. And he was like, I mean, y'all trying to make it, I mean, I don't care. Well, nigga, you should care. You should care, because at the end of the day, if something does happen to her tomorrow, you get no say-so, sir. You get no say-so in nothing. Marquez is her husband. He get to plan the funeral, all of those things. All of that is left up to him. Any of her assets, belongings, that goes to him. You have nothing, no rights to anything, sir. While you sitting over there paying for houses and cars and all of this type of stuff, and you have no access to anything if anything happens to her, you big jalopy looking fool. You just a big old pile of nothing. Like, I ain't never seen no man be this goddamn dumb and gullible behind a woman. Like, I'm low-key a little jealous of Trisha, because she must got a pussy of gold. I mean, god damn it. She got blood diamonds in that bitch. Like, what the fuck is going on? She must got a head game out of this world. She must put Korean Stephens to shame. She the new superhead, god damn it. She the new superhead, super freak. Cause my God, is this man an idiot. He is just a big ass fool. And it's so embarrassing, because Ken is not an ugly dude. When he got on his little outfits or whatever, when he go to the little barbershop scenes and he put his little shit on, he a nice looking little dude. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, what's wrong with you? He must have been on the little slow bus. He was one of them kids that had a helmet on. Baby, because, oh my God, he is just an idiot. So, Ken in his confession talks, and y'all are the last two that need to speak on anything that happens in relationships. Do I agree? Absolutely 100%. But at the same time, they're telling you the truth that you just don't want to acknowledge. But it's real true tea and real true facts. Okay? Because even if they got divorced tomorrow, she still ain't marrying you. You are Arion, sir. You are Arion. You are Arion and she is Martell. She's never going to marry you. She going to try to find every excuse in the world to not marry your ass. Okay? You are a seat filler for the real thing. And she still is attached to Marquez. Very much so. Because if she was really done and over him, she would have been divorced, and it wouldn't be all this back and forth arguing and stuff like that with him. That's just like me going back and forth arguing with my son's father. For what? For what? I know who you are. I know how you act. I know you ain't shit. So why would I continue to go back and forth with you? There's no reason. That's why I do not. You know what I'm saying? So if it was that way for Trisha, y'all wouldn't even have none of this going on. She helps aid in the foolishness, but he just does not want to acknowledge that. So back over there with the ladies, Nell says, I feel like you two aren't transparent. Y'all talk about my things, what I got going on in my life, my grandkids. And Tisha, Letitia, Scott, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, had a great fall. Reginade 20 years later had the nerve to say with full bass in her voice, and we will. I don't know how Nell didn't leap across Kimmi and frog splash her ass, because who the fuck are you talking to, bitch? If you want to play that game, bitch, we can play that motherfucking game, Thompson and Will. Okay, well, bitch, it's going to be an and Will and one when I dig into all of the shit that's going on in your life. Bitch, I would have read Tisha punk pussy ass for filth, because, when you get so tough, you got all the attitude in the world for everybody who you don't need to have smoke for. But the people you need to have smoke for, aka your raggedy ass husband, you ain't got no smoke for him. It's but my soul, please acknowledge me, please love me. You ain't got nothing for him, but you got all that for everybody else. Girl, go sit down, because you are not that girl. You will never be that girl. Sorry. And this mean girl act you got going on this season ain't even befitting of you, because we know the real you from season 1 with your meek ass walking around looking like a librarian. Couldn't even stick up for yourself, could barely pull a sentence together. But now you think you that bitch because Mel gone? Girl, stop. Stop, Tisha. This is not in your ministry, because you are such an easy read. You are such an easy read. Stop. 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 And now we know you lame, you meek, you weak as fuck. And we know you let niggas run trains on your ass in college. Let niggas watch you fuck in college. And you a slut? Like, girl, please. Stop it. Stop. You're a joke, okay? You're a fool. Bitch, girl, I would have cussed her out. Because, like, who you think you talking to? I had my little daycare kids beat your ass. Like, girl, bye. So Miss Nell was like, no, Kimmi says, what's not transparent? And Nell says, the Martell interview. And Tisha rolls her eyes. What you rolling your eyes for? Because I guess you thought you shut that conversation down the last time y'all linked. Oh, no, bitch. You want to ask everybody else about their stuff. We're going to ask you about your stuff, okay? So Kimmi was like, I didn't watch the whole interview. So that's me not being transparent, because I didn't watch the whole interview. And Tisha was like, I didn't watch any of the effing interview. Both of y'all some lying ass whores. Both of y'all are some lying bitches from the 90s, because you're not going to sit up here and tell me y'all didn't watch that interview. Especially you, Tisha. I know you watched it. You might not have watched it with Marceau, but bitch, you watched it in the car by yourself. You watched that damn interview. Both of y'all did, because y'all want to know the tea. Because you even said that you and Marceau went on Instagram Live and addressed the situation. So how you addressing a situation where you don't even know what was said unless you watched it? Stop. Stop. Please. Girl, go play in traffic. So Tisha was like, what I'm not going to do is address stuff that I haven't dealt with to please people that feel like I should address it. You haven't been transparent about your infidelity. Tisha, I don't know who you think you trying to fool with this I ain't dealt with infidelity bullshit. That nigga might not be cheating now, but he did cheat on your ass at some point. So stop. Stop. And every time somebody brings something to you, you want to revert it back to them. How has Miss Nell not been transparent about her situation? She talked about her situation. We know about her situation. What? And it wasn't even about whether or not that it was true. It was just about how did you feel about what this lady is saying about your husbands. That's all we want to know. And the fact that you got an attitude about it makes me feel like, yeah, you feel some type of way. You pressed. Because why are you so angry? Snap it to a Slim Jim. Nell in her confessional was like, there she go deflecting as soon as she tried to bring up her stuff. Trisha was like, well, I know I'm an open damn book. I talk about everything. And Tisha said, nah, Trish, I don't know about that. And in her confessional, she was like, girl, we all have witnessed Trisha give us bits and pieces of the pie. And that's real true tea. I mean, because we all know your ass be lying. You go by deny. I ain't never admitting to it. Because we all know that you are not telling the truth when it come about you and Martell. That's why you don't want Martell ass around no more. Because he been dropping little bread crumbs about what y'all did together. Because you cheated on Ken with Martell. Because you's a cheater, pumpkin eater. Okay? Stop. So I agree with Tisha about that. Like, you ain't transparent like that, sister girl. So, over where the guys, Marceau brings up the whole NDA situation. And here go Ken, goofy ass, times I would rather date a married woman than deal with that shit. Like, do people acknowledge the shit that come out? Like, don't people understand that everything that you think don't have to be said? You messing with married women, because wasn't it said that this wasn't his first relationship that he been in where the woman was married? Am I making that up, or was that said? Y'all let me know. But you aiding in infidelity and going against God, like what? Like, he really is a real life ogre. I just want to punch that nigga. Like, oh my God, like, please. So Chris denies that it was said that way. And he came up with some excuse, child. But I'm like, sir, we saw you had a conversation with Mel. And what is this? Why ain't nobody mentioning Mel's name now that she ain't on the show? Did she tell the motherfuckers don't mention me? Because, like, everybody is skirting around saying her name. And now when they show the scene where where Chris said that to Melody, they cut Melody out. Like, what is going on with that? Are they being shady? Did they did production tell them don't mention Melody name? Or was that asked from Melody to not mention her name anymore? Because, like, what is that about? Like, now they don't say Mel name. She like Voldemort, he who will not be named. But now they openly say Arion's name. Like, it's a reverse now. Like, it's so shady. So shady. So, they let it go. And back over there with the ladies, Kimmi says, I can't discuss something I don't know about. And Nell was like, I mean, it's about the NDAs. And they was like, I mean, well, let's go over there and ask them. So they get over there and go over there with the guys or whatever. And Tisha, who got liquid courage that Nell called out earlier in the episode, that, you know, she take a few shots and then get booked. You know what I'm saying? And so Tisha go over there waving her hand, and Chris talking about, you know what you did? You know what you did? Come to the floor, Chris. Come to the middle of the floor. And Nell said, put your liquid courage hand over there. And Tisha was like, Chris, come to the center of the stage. Right here, Chris. Right here, Chris. Just doing the most and being aggressive. And like, who? Huh? And Chris was like, I don't report to Letitia. Baby, she was so outdone and flabbergasted that he checked her ass. She did one of these. Like, looked at Marcel like, did this nigga just? Yeah, he did. And even your nigga didn't say shit because your nigga knew that you was wrong. That man stay embarrassing you because he never has your fucking back. Because you're a fucking idiot and you make yourself look like a goddamn dummy every time. Every time he make you look like a fool. He never has your back in public. Never. Not in public, not in private. And you fall for it every time, child. Thinking that this man gonna have your back. And he don't. Because you wrong. You totally wrong. Because if Chris would have cussed your ass out, then he would have been wrong. But you was wrong for the way that you even stepped to that man. Doing too much. Doing way too much. I ain't appreciate that. Didn't appreciate it at all. Nell didn't appreciate it neither. Because Nell was looking like, girl, you better get the fuck on for my husband with that bullshit. Marceau in his confessional says Tisha has a habit of walking up to other men and treating them like husbands. Yeah, and they gonna treat her like a wife one day. And knock her ass the fuck out. So Tisha keep on going with the shit. And Chris say, me and your husband already talked about it. And at that point, Marceau was like, all right. And he step in to like calm the situation down and tells her we already talked about it. And he even pulls her away from the group to like get her in order. Like, you should be embarrassed that you got to be treated like a kid because you can't handle your liquor because you need it to act like you the big bad wolf. And then the episode went off. Like, I just do not see it for Tisha. I don't like her. She's an imposter. She don't even know who she is. She a grown, big-ass fool. Okay? That's pretending to be a bad bitch, and that ain't even in your ministry, girl. Go back to wearing them smocks. Go back to wearing your real natural hair, because you looked a lot better when you was doing it. And just be that stay-at-home mom that didn't question her husband. Girl, because you trying to pretend like you got this newfound independence. Nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it. You don't run shit over there, and we know you don't. That's why it's not even authentic, because we know you. We know who you are at the core of you, and it ain't what you trying to portray. It's not. It's giving you trying to step into male shoes and be the new, OG of the show, like the leader of the women, and no. No. We don't believe you. You need more people. Yeah. And I could see her and Trisha getting into it at some point. And Trisha like to fight, so she might knock her ass the fuck out playing with her. Okay? I'm gonna give this week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, I'm gonna give it a B+. It was a cute little episode. Yeah. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it. Let's talk about it down below in the comment section. Please make sure to thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications so y'all know when my videos drop. I love you, T Squad, and I will see y'all on the next video. Bye.